I don't regret college. The only thing I do regret is not having a guy from Money Talks Media giving me 3 financial power plays to adapt during my college experience. And today, that's what I'm doing for you. Some of us go to college because the whole idea of college is already scary in itself when you're only 18 years old. But let's just face it, coming right out of high school, you're not gonna be that financially mature. Especially being the first generational college student, you're trying to navigate what college even means. In this video, I'm gonna break down 3 financial tips that you should consider adapting during your college journey. This video is right for you if 1, you're about to go to college, 2, you're serious about building your wealth, or 3, if you have a kid going to college soon, or if they're already in school. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. Number 1 is ETF and index fund investing. I already know we're all broke during the college experience. We all like to go partying. I know college kids do a lot of smoking and drinking and getting into romantic relationships and sleeping in on the weekends. And I already know that that is something that happens all the time. But let's just say that you have school taken care of from a financial standpoint. Tuition's paid, maybe you're getting some scholarship money, and perhaps you're working a part-time job. And that part-time job could either be off campus or it could be a work study. Say that all your personal expenses are covered and you have some fun money set aside for the weekend, and then you have an extra $50 to $100 sitting there. And whether that's on a monthly basis or a bi-weekly basis, you should take that money and put it into an exchange traded fund, also known as an ETF, or an index fund with high growth. Especially with an app called Acorns, it makes it very easy to invest periodically. And if you're looking for a little financial boost to help you get started, then tap the link in my description and we both can get free money. And people believe that you need $300 to $500 a month in order for this to work, but you don't. Just imagine having that money be automatically invested each time you get paid. And then those dollars compound over time. And let's imagine that you automated your investments and you manualized your spending. And over the course of 4 years, you have a portfolio over $30,000 in assets. Because an average return of 8 to 10% within the S&P stock market, then that's very much possible. And we're not even including when you go back home with your family and you're working a summer job with low expenses. Then during that summer time period, you can invest a lot more to set yourself up. And when you're investing, don't touch that money. Just leave it alone. And I know Bitcoin is very hot right now, but Acorns allows you to invest in Bitcoin ETFs. So that means that you invest in a fund that holds Bitcoin without directly owning the actual cryptocurrency. So you can still ride the wave. The second financial tip is refund check investment. A lot of y'all definitely seen this one coming, but the refund checks hits your direct deposit account when the tuition is paid and you have a remaining balance within your student account. And once that check hits, you feel like you're a millionaire. You're buying food for the friends, you're ordering large combos, you're going to the mall and buying drip, you upgrade your dorm room TV. If you have a car, you're putting upgrades on your car. You're just doing all types of crazy stuff because you feel like you're the richest person ever. And while you should enjoy a piece of that money, majority of it should be very strategic. We're gonna do a quick breakdown of what you should do by category. And even though I know refund checks are generally much more than this, we're gonna keep it simple and suppose that you get a check for $1,000. And $1,000 is the 100% allocation. Let's take 50% of that allocation, which would be $500. And that portion goes into a high yield savings account, an ETF or index fund that we were just talking about, a freelancing gig, a side hustle that could pay you later on, any personal debt that you're paying for each month, any course materials or book, or even AI software that could help you with your schoolwork. And then the other bucket is 25%, which is $250. And that's your fun money. And so you can use that on the weekend that you've been waiting for. You could use that to go on some dates. You could buy some new shoes or whatever you find personally enjoyable. And then the last 25% is for charity. I know a lot of you do not agree with this point, but trust me, it'll pay you later on. You could either split it up and half of it goes towards a church or organization that you support, or you can take the entire thing and invest it into another organization. Or you can take the 25% and invest it in a school school that you're going to. And you can donate to scholarship funds, student organizations, your fraternity or sorority, or any other causes that your school cares about. Because schools, whether they're private or public universities, they really do care about your donations. And especially if you do it while you're going to school actively, they are going to love you. And personally, I was invited to be the commencement speaker for my undergraduate university. And because of that, I've built relationships throughout my college. And I've also donated. Even when student loans were kicking my butt, I still donated. And I'm not saying that you are going to be the commencement speaker for your school too, but it's all about building long-term relationships. And last point I'll make on this tip, if you take that refund check and invest in a skill set or a side business, then the only thing you're doing is you're betting on yourself for it to build into an empire. Mark Zuckerberg and some roommates built Facebook in college. Because Mark went to Harvard University, they tested out the first phases of what Facebook was supposed to be, originally for colleges. They partnered with other universities, they received surveys from the current students that were going to Harvard, and today, he scaled it to a multi-billion-dollar company. And all of that came from investing what he had left over and betting on himself. So you can either invest your refund check partially in the allocation method that I just gave you, or you can go all in and bet on yourself to try to build an empire. Quick pause. If you're receiving a lot of value from this video as a college student or future college student, or even your kid is going to school soon, then go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Because once you do that, then we are fully committed and locked in. And as you subscribe, you'll continue to gain insights throughout your journey. And then you'll feel more confident making decisions, investing in the assets, and changing your mindset forever. All right, now let's get back into it. The last and final tip, tip number 3, building credit responsibly. You may side-eye this tip, but don't sleep on it. This one is one of the most important tips that you need to listen to, so turn your volume up. Before going to college, I was talking to family about credit. I was 18, still in my hometown, working, just preparing to go to school. And while I was working 40 hours a week, I wasn't building credit. I was over at my aunt's house, she was making some bomb spaghetti, and as I walked in the kitchen, she was asking if I had a credit card. As soon as she asked the question, I paused and responded, "No, I don't." Then she leaned in, "Josh, you really need to start building your credit." And so a few days later, I walked into a local branch and applied for a credit card. And then based on my income, they give you a maximum spending amount. They don't want to risk losing any money, even though you make good income. And so after I got approved, I would spend on my credit card and then pay off the balance before the next billing cycle. And even though I was getting 0% interest for the first 18 months as a student, I would still develop the habit as if I was accruing interest. And so that is what I encourage you to do. Apply for a credit card, spend responsibly, and talk to your bank about how to manage it responsibly. Because credit allowed me to get a car that I financed on my own. It allowed me to apply for student loans, even though I did get myself in a lot of student debt. And it also allowed me to apply for other loans later on. And even though you may not need all of these financial products that I just mentioned, it's still really good to have a good credit score and great credit history. Pay on time, have under a 30% utilization rate, meaning if you have a $1,000 limit, then only spend under $300 per billing cycle. And please, please, please study what it means to have a credit card and be responsible. Because even though when I graduated college, I wasn't able to purchase a home, just like a lot of my peers during school, you at least want to have 4 strong credit years under your belt, because that'll help you be able to purchase a home if you can afford one, and also other opportunities if you ever need it. So wrapping this up, you should at least be able to take one of these financial tips during your journey, whether you're going into college or you have someone that you know going into college. But I encourage you, drop a comment below. Which one of these tips are you taking with you? But I appreciate you watching. Good luck in your journey, keep me updated, and I'll see you at the top.